This right here is what we're going to be doing today. Since this is in my shop, it's already staged, so we have to remove everything that's in front of this piece to get started on it. Okay, let's pick the color. I am choosing this Fancy Farm Girl green. I've been wanting to paint something green for the longest time. So we're going to start with one coat, and then of course we're going to put another coat, but we're also going to layer this green with other greens and other colors to give it that look that you saw in that beginning photo. Okay, so we're going to continue with the mixture of greens. So now I'm going to add this powder. It's a mixing powder in this color right here. It's called Plant Lady. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this powder with white paint, and this is what's going to give it that different green that you see here in the middle. My goal was to get this to be different hues of green, and I think it came out the way I wanted it to. I'm really happy with it. Sometimes I'm like, but with this one, I am happy with the way it came out. So far, 2 greens. The Plant Lady mixing powder and the Fancy Farm Girl. Now, just to say that you can use other greens. This is just the colors that I use. The paint that I use is Debbie's Design Diary paint. It's no VOC, it's clay based, and I love the way it goes on my furniture when I paint it. But you can do a piece like this in any color, mixing light colors together to get the look you want. Now moving on to the drawers, we're going to do the same exact thing as we did on the lower half. And then it's pretty much going to look like this, except that now I'm going to introduce a new color. I am going to blend some white into that green that we first put on this piece right here. And believe me, I know it looks a little crazy right now, but it all turns out well in the end, as you saw the picture in the beginning of the video. It has to go through its ugly stage, that's for sure. So I'm just going to blend, again, this white paint into the green. Okay, so now that we've blended greens and whites, I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to use salt wash, and that's just a powder. Again, it has no color, and I'm going to mix paint into it. It should have the consistency of cake batter, and I'm only going to use a little bit, and this is just to give it that like worn look that I want this piece to have. I want it to look like it's a little bit older. I don't want it to be perfect. I like for things to be imperfectly perfect. So we're going to add some of that onto this piece, and once that's dried, because I've mixed it with the green, I'm going to add white over it, and then I'm probably going to add more green over it. I'm just going to keep adding colors. As you can see, it gives it some texture, and this is really, really pretty. It does make a difference on a piece when it's just painted and when it does have a little texture, just like it makes a difference when something is just one color or 2 colors, or if colors are blended in. It's a totally different look. And yes, it still is going through its ugly stage. You know, sometimes when you start a project like this and you start slapping things onto a piece of furniture, you might wonder to yourself, is this even going in a good direction? How is this going to turn out? I think you need to trust the process, and more importantly, I think you need to trust yourself. So next I'm going to introduce a new green. It's called Vintage Mint, and it's by Debbie's Design Diary paint. Also, it is self-leveling. It is not really a chalk paint, but it does work well with the chalk paint that I've been using since we started this project. And it's really pretty. It's a light minty green, and I think this just kind of highlights this piece in the areas that I want to bring out a little bit more. To give it that old vintagey look, I am scraping the paint off the edges of this piece, and I'll do it in other areas as well. Just makes it look a little bit more authentic, I think. Okay, so we're almost done with the bottom half. We're just going to do a little bit more of paint blending over the salt wash, a little bit more scraping the paint off, and all of the steps that we took before until we can get to the top. Okay, moving to the top half, I'm going to use another color. This is a brownish color here, and I'm going to use it on the counterpart and where these little knobby, spindly things are. And then, of course, we're going to go back to our fancy farm girl. We're going to add that because we want to tie it all in. So that'll go to the front drawers so it matches the bottom drawers. These top little drawers that do actually work and pull out, we want them to be the same colors as the drawers on the lower half of this piece and the doors. I did paint the inside, which is silly, and you'll see why later. Meanwhile, this is what we have so far, and it does look pretty good, but at some point, the back of this hutch, that I painted with the green and the white, it takes a different turn. So now that I have my brown base coat down, I decided, I didn't want the brown. I wanted something lighter and brighter. It seemed too dark to me. And this is the thing about painting pieces, at least for me. I start out with a vision and it somehow ends up being something else. I feel like, and this sounds silly, like the furniture tells you what it wants. And sometimes it's not necessarily what you want. And maybe what you pick doesn't look right. So it's okay to change directions. Never be afraid to do that. Okay, you ready? So here comes the fun part. We're going to add some transfers to the bottom part of this hutch. And I'm using the collage de fleurs from IOD Design. These are super easy to use. You're going to just peel them away from the paper that they're on, and then you're going to rub them into the whatever you're working on, whatever you're putting these on, with this little plastic stick that comes in this package. So in all of these, you get several different pages of different flowers or whatever the pattern is of the IOD Design transfer you're choosing, and you can mix and match and put them together and just, design it the way you want to on the piece that you're working on. In the back, there's also a little bit, there's a few pictures of some pieces that were done with this particular design here with these flowers. So I'm just going to add them on here, depending on how I think they look good. But mostly I'm just going to add them in clusters because I want this hutch, now that it's this beautiful vibrant green that I'm in love with, to pop with the colors of the flowers from the transfers that have red and yellow. And so that's what we're going to do. So now that I cut this first piece, this first flower that I liked, and I put it on, I'm going to simply peel away the plastic with the grid marks now that I've finished rubbing it, and you'll see that the whole flower pattern is stuck on the piece of furniture that I painted. So you want to pull this plastic with the grid marks carefully, because you pull it too hard, you're going to rip the transfer, and then that's that. These are one-time use, but they're really simple to use. You can always lay that plastic back down as you're pulling if you see that there's a piece that didn't quite transfer onto the piece. It's really simple. You just lay it back down and keep rubbing, and then pull up gently like you did before. So from here on out, we're just going to continue adding more pretty flowers. Okay, so now that I've added all the flower transfers to the bottom, I decided that even though I painted the back part of this hutch, I want to add this pinstripe wallpaper. Excuse me, it's not wallpaper, it's decoupage paper. So I'm just going to sort of measure it to see how much I need, just by laying it on here and then just making little creases of where I need to cut. And that's how we're going to get it on here. We're going to use Mod Podge to get this on the back of this hutch. And as you can see where I made the crease with my finger, that this is where we're going to cut. So this is going to fit pretty good to the back of this. I'm excited to do this. Okay, so now we're going to just try this on for size. Yes, it looks good. And we are going to put this piece here on by sections. We're going to grab our Mod Podge glue and we're going to put it on the piece of furniture, and little by little just kind of pat the paper down, try to get the wrinkles out as much as possible. And yeah, we're going to work on it piece by piece in sections. So one thing I do want to say is that you want to get this Mod Podge glue on here nice and even, because if you do not get it on here nice and even and all over, you will have ear pockets in the back, and this is where the paper is not going to stick properly onto this piece or any piece that you're working on. And so you want to smooth this out to get as much wrinkles as possible to give it that nice look. I don't mind a few wrinkles because it makes it look a little bit older, but you do want to make sure that you get enough glue there so you don't create any ear pockets. I actually ended up doing this for the back of the bottom too. So I just repeated the same steps that I did to the top shelving, backing, exactly the same. Okay, so here's something I definitely want to show you. I did not have enough of this paper. I only had the 2 sheets and it wasn't long enough. So what I did is I did cut, because I had to put it landscape instead of vertical, and this is why the sheet wasn't long enough. But that's okay, because I'm just going to repeat the same steps that I did earlier to get this paper on here. And with the little bit of paper I have left, I'm just going to try to cut out the piece to make it fit here, and I'm going to line it up. And since these are stripes, it's kind of easy to get it in there and just make it look like it was just all one piece. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to use that Mod Podge and get it on there. And at the very end, I did seal this with the very same Mod Podge. So it's great. That Mod Podge will go behind the paper to get that paper to glue on to your surface, and then the Mod Podge is going to go in front and also the back of this paper. Okay, so I did change the hardware on this piece, not all of it, but most of it, especially the bottom part. I had 2 of these draw pulls. One was the brown and one was white, and so that wasn't a problem. All you have to do is okay, so I did change the hardware on the bottom part of this piece, so I'm just adding a little bit of color to these pulls because I'm not crazy about the color, and I'm going to blend it in and it's all going to match and it's going to be great. So here's the finished piece. I know this video was a little bit longer than the usual ones I make. This did take a while to create, but I'm absolutely happy with it. I am, for some reason, on the color green kick. But anyways, if you like to see more videos, please follow, like, comment, and hit that notification button. And I'll see you in the next one.